Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Sunday, the 9th day of Cheshvan. Let's begin with Tzedakah, Gedola, Tzedakah, Shemakareves, Geula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. And we continue in chapter 26, letter 26 in Ageras Hakodesh. And the Alter Rebbe talks today about the power that we have as human beings, souls that are in physical human body. We have such power to elevate the godly sparks more than the angels, more than the higher celestial beings. The Alter Rebbe talks about the godly sparks. We mentioned yesterday about refining, elevating the godly sparks. We do them through engaging in the material things, doing them for the sake of Hashem. And we elevate the godly sparks that animates them. So the Alter Rebbe says this is also true when it comes to the study of Torah. So when we study Torah, sometimes you study Torah and it's nice and easy, very smooth, tells you, you're reading the Torah, you're reading the Talmud, this is okay, this is not okay. And then there are certain areas in the Talmud that is very complicated. And you have to work very, very hard to understand. You read a concept, you read an opinion, and then you find something contradicting. You have to figure out what is right and how to come up with the right conclusion. And the Zohar explains that this idea of the reasonings, of the rulings in the Torah that are concealed and they're complicated, this is because there are those godly, holy sparks that are vested and they're in captivity, in the exile, in the darkness of the exile. And when we toil and we work hard to understand them, obviously based on the rulings and the principles and the guidance of the Torah, we are releasing this godly energy from its captivity. And we have the power because we are the spiritual beings. Angels don't have that power. First of all, because the godly energy that is in the lowest world, in the lowest levels, are very high holy energy. The angels don't have access to it. A Jew has the power. As we mentioned many times, what the Alter Rebbe says, it says in the Zohar, Kol b'yasara shchintei sharya, when there are 10 people, 10 Jews in the room, God's presence is there, and the angels are not capable of being in a room with the 10 Jews, even if they don't study Torah, because of the power that they have. And the fact that we don't sense it is because we are enclosed, the soul is enclosed in garment, which he calls the serpent skin, the skin of the serpent. Serpent, which alludes to the original sin of Adam and Eve caused by the serpent. And that represents the concealment. So the soul is concealed and it goes down into the lowest levels. But potentially we have that power, that godly power to release this godly energy that is in the darkness. How do we do it? So first of all, it is by breaking our desires. When you have a certain urge to do something not good and you are actually crushing the evil forces, and you release that potential power that you have. And the same thing is doing this along with toiling and understanding, trying to understand hard. You are releasing, and once it's released, it is, he calls it, it's like you're redeeming. Hashem says, when you study Torah, you redeem me. You sort of redeem Hashem from among the nations. It's the story about the Beis Yosef, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. He said it was once he was sitting in a study room and he was studying and trying to understand a certain a certain concept, a certain teachings that he couldn't understand, he couldn't make sense of it. And he worked very, very hard for hours. And finally, he came to understanding, and he was very happy. Baruch Hashem, I understand it now. And the next day he goes into the synagogue, and he sees a very simple Jew studying the same subject that he was trying to understand yesterday. And he listens to how this guy is studying it, how he understands it, and he realizes, and he sees that he explains this concept, this subject, simply, just like the conclusion that he came after working so hard. That simple Jew is not a genius, not a great scholar, just explained it in a simple way without working hard, and he felt so terrible. Felt maybe he's not at that level that he thought he was. And I believe it was that he was then at night was told from heaven that the fact that he toiled and he worked hard to understand this concept, this subject, and he came to a conclusion in his mind, that caused that godly spark that was in this question to be released from its imprisonment, and now it's out there in the world. Once it's in the world, even a simple person can understand it easily. It is because you, the Beis Yosef, you opened it up, you released this concept. So of course this is something that we don't understand really. It's not a really logical thing, it's more of a spiritual thing. And then Alter Rebbe continues that this is something that it's not just great scholars that have the ability to release those godly sparks that is in the reasoning. It is every single Jew. When you study Torah and you use your logic, you toil with your mind, with your logic to understand the Torah, to come up with conclusions. And again, of course, it has to be based on the ruling of the Torah. But when you reveal, you understand certain concept, you look at it from a different perspective, from your own personal perspective, you help to release and redeem God's sparks from these darkness of the klippas. And this is the mission of our life, every day. And every neshama, every soul has a mission to fulfill, releasing. There is certain areas in the Torah that is allotted to every soul that it needs to release. And if we don't do it, we have to come back again to this world and complete the job. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe, והנה העליונים אין בהם כוח לברר ולהלוס מהשבירה שבקליפת נוגה, אלא התחתונים לבד. Now the celestial beings, the souls and angels in the higher world, they do not have the power to disencumber and elevate that which is in the klipas noga, meaning the sparks that are exiled in the shell, in the darkness. As a result of the breaking of the vessels, which we discussed yesterday, the breaking of the vessel caused the descent of these godly sparks. So the higher celestial beings, they don't have the power to do it. Only the terrestrial beings, the souls situated in this world, they can do this. And why is that? For they are vested in the material body that is known as the hide of the serpent, which derives from the klipas noiga. So because we are in the lowest places, in the serpent's body, we have access to the lowest places. The higher celestial beings, they don't have access. They only access something which is pure and holy. But we are in physical body, and we have the temptations. And when we break our temptations, we release this power to be able to transform and to release the godly sparks. Says the Alter Rebbe, These embodied souls, they weaken its strength, the strength of the klipa, by crushing the passions. When we have passions, we have desires, and we crush them, that causes the breaking of the evil spirit, thereby subjugating the sitra acha, so that all the works of evil, the klippos, will be dispersed. And the Rebbe continues and says something very interesting. He says, this is why the celestial beings, the souls of the higher worlds, they come to hear innovative insights into the Torah from the terrestrial beings, from the souls that are here in this world. The souls from the higher world, they come to listen to us, to our teachings. That is because we have the power. We have the power to reveal those godly teachings when we use our intellect to innovate in the Torah. They come, the higher celestial beings, they come to hear the secrets of wisdom which they innovate and reveal, and which until this time has been in bondage, in exile. Unless you think that this is something that is only for great scholars and great sages, says the Alter Rebbe, no. This is something that every single Jew is capable and must do that. Every Jew is able to reveal secrets of wisdom, to reveal and to discover a new insights. Hein ba'aloches, hein ba'agodes, hein ba'nigla, hein ba'nister, whether it may be in the laws or in homiletics, in the revealed or in the mystical plane of the Torah. Kefi b'chinas sheiresh nishmasai. This is according to the nature of his soul's root and its consequent affinity with each of the above categories of Torah. And not only are we capable to do it, but we are actually obligated to do it. This is part of our mission in this world. Indeed, one is obligated to do so, to uncover hitherto concealed insights into the Torah, and to reveal the secrets of wisdom. Lahashlim nishmasai be'alos kol hanitzotzois shenoflu lechelka legeirala kanaida. This is in order to perfect his soul by elevating all the sparks that have been allotted to it as is known. And again, that every soul has sparks that is allotted to the soul. Moreover, every Torah teaching, and especially a halachic teaching, is a spark of the Shechina, which is the word of God. In the words of the Gemara, the phrase word of God denotes the halacha, the actual ruling. And that is, in the spiritual terms, it is, in the Kabbalistic terms, it's called the Malchus of Atzilus. So the Malchus de Atzilus amalbeshes lechochma de Atzilus umelabashim bemalchus de Yetzira. This accords with the Kabbalistic principle regarding Malchus of Atzilus, which garbs the Chochma of Atzilus, both of which are vested in Malchus of Yetzira. And that's what we discussed yesterday. In which the breaking of the vessels, with the breaking of the vessels, they descended into the Klipas Noiga. And here the Alter Rebbe concludes and says, that explains that interesting statement in the Talmud that it says that anyone who studies Torah, Hashem says that I considered as if you have redeemed me from the nations. זהו שאמרו בגמרא כולו, עסק בתורה, אמר הקודש ברוך הוא. מעלה אני עולב כאילו פדועני וזבוני מבין עמו ישראל. Thus the Gemara teaches that the Holy One, blessed be He, says, of whoever engages in the study of Torah, I account it, says God, as if He had redeemed me and my children from among the nations of the world. For the Torah study redeems the sparks of the Shekhinah, the sparks of the Word of God from their exile within the Klippas. So this gives us a whole new understanding what it means when we sit down and study Torah. And especially when we study Torah, not just casually, after a day of work, you're listening to a podcast, you want to enjoy, relax, and listen. No, you do it with trying to concentrate, trying to understand it deeper and come up with your own personal understandings of it. So this is an amazing thing what we accomplish through our Torah study. We bring the redemption, and that will lead to the ultimate redemption with Mashiach very soon. Amen. Have a wonderful day. Be'ezrat Hashem. I'll see you tomorrow.